Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Another class, at the same time, it can implement any number of interfaces. That means what you are trying to do here, you are just extending another class, but implementation, you are going to implement interface and there is no restriction on the interface level. But extending, you can only extend one class, and if you want to provide the definition for all the abstract methods, either you can go and specify at this level, or else if you are implementing multiple interfaces, you can just go and provide the definition at this level, or else you have the option of specifying abstract. Let us say this car shipment, you don't want to implement car interface, okay, because car interface was already implemented by Toyota car. Toyota car, it has already provided the definition for these two methods. So car shipment, what it thought was, instead of implementing both the interface, I can just extend Toyota car. Where is our car? Yeah. So here you can see that I am extending Toyota car and implementing shipment interface. So here what I am doing, at the same time, I am extending one class and I am trying to implement another interface. This is also possible with respect to your class file. But only restriction is, at any point of time, you can only extend one class and you can implement any number of interfaces. Because Java doesn't support multiple inheritance through class files, but only supports with respect to interfaces. Yeah, take 5 minutes break, then I'll start the next level. Meanwhile, I'll answer the doubts. Can we have a subclass inheriting from? Can we have a subclass inheriting from a superclass and an interface? Yeah, that's what we have seen right now. We are extending one concrete superclass, which is Toyota car, and we are implementing shipment interface. Abstract cannot instantiate, then how you will call abstract class? See, abstract class, it's not possible for us to create any instances. You should write a concrete class and then you can create an object for a concrete class and you can make use of abstract class reference and call those methods. How do we deal with duplicate methods in multiple interfaces. Yeah, you can call, no issues. How do we deal with duplicate methods in multiple interfaces? Can we call it by interface.method? See, if at all, if you have specified the method name in two different interfaces, you are just specifying the name of the method. With respect to interfaces, you can't provide any definition. Either you implement at your subclass level, taking from first interface or second interface, that doesn't matter anyway. When you define interfaces, you said subclasses. How about just classes?
Can you go to the definition, the doc file?
Okay.
Can you go up? Yeah. You defined interfaces, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Not interfaces. You defined subclasses. Can you come down a little bit? You defined something there.
No, what are you expecting?
I was thinking whether it can only the subclasses can. When you say subclasses, they are extending from a parent class, right?
Okay.
When you search for subclasses, you wrote the definition somewhere.
Definition for?
Give me a minute.
Krish?
Yeah.
This is Tulasi.
Yeah, Tulasi.
Do we need to implement, can you go here, public class car shipment extends Toyota car. If we don't provide here extends Toyota car and implement shipment interface and car interface.
Okay.
Do we need to provide definitions for all methods here?
Here, you are implementing both the interfaces, right? Car interface and shipment interface. So, car interface consists of two abstract methods and shipment interface consists of one abstract method. So, totally three abstract methods. So, within your implementing class, the main purpose of implementation is to provide the definition for all the abstract methods. So, it will be going to count. Sorry, go ahead.
We already implemented the methods in Toyota car, right?
In Toyota car, right? In Toyota car, you have implemented car interface, but this implementation is only with respect to Toyota car, but not with respect to our car shipment class. See, Toyota car, it is implementing car interface. That's fine. You are taking care about the car interface with respect to Toyota car. But when you are implementing means, this implementation detail is only with respect to Toyota car, but not for other classes. The definition or the implementation, whatever that you are doing with respect to your class, that is only available for your particular class. But here, with respect to your car shipment, you are again trying to implement the car interface. You are specifying that I am going to implement this interface. So when you specify I am going to implement this interface, you are taking the responsibility of implementing the class and providing the definition for those abstract methods. If you say that I am extending the Toyota car, because Toyota car is already implementing those abstract methods. In that case, this is fine. You are providing correct implementation with respect to abstract methods, and you are directly extending Toyota car, which consists of abstract method definitions.
Okay.
But in the reverse, there is if at all, if you are implementing, see, the same case, when you go for your main order, change order, delete order example, yeah, this particular case, when you are extending abstract class, even though main order has provided definition for process order, that won't collaborate with change order or delete order. Whatever the definition that you have provided, it is only up to that particular class point.
Okay.
Even change order and delete order, when they are extending order class, means they are trying to extend or they are trying to get the information from order class. So they should take the responsibility of implementing the abstract methods. That's what with respect to our interface as well.
Okay. Can you stop there itself?
Yeah.
Can you go a little up? Just 6 or 7 lines up.
Okay.
Little up.
Okay.
Because somewhere you said an interface needs to implement. Okay, here. Can you read the sentence? An interface needs to be implemented by subclasses.
Okay.
So when you say subclass, you're not. Okay.
Man, you can't expect the correct definition from me. I won't remember the definition.
No. Because the moment you said subclasses, I thought it has to be something has to extend. Because I was always thinking subclass is always an see, if you say A extends B, B is called a subclass of A, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, that's how I thought. So that's the reason I pinged you saying that why you say only subclasses. So it can be from any class, right? Not necessarily as a subclass.
The moment you write implementation for any class, for implementation for any interface, those are all just like subclasses for an interface. You are going to provide the definition for all the abstract methods, right? When you say interface implementation, interfaces, they won't call that as subclass. You're correct. Normally, we'll be going to call them as implemented classes only.
So we are always talking about inheritance here, right? When you say extend or when you say implement, are we talking about inheritance?
Yeah, exactly. We are talking about inheritance only.
Both. So what is the difference between extend and implement? So extend means you don't necessarily need to provide a definition, but the moment you say implement, you have to provide a
Implements is with respect to interfaces and extends is with respect to class files. Is that fine?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay, let us discuss about our next topic, which is exception handling. And before that, I forgot to ask you about the Saturday or Sunday's class. So Adil.
Yes.
Adil, so only for this week you won't be available, or for normally you won't be available for any time in the morning?
No, I won't be, at least not for the next 3 months. I was hoping that either we can start off with the class a little earlier than what you have mentioned, because the times you mentioned were all EST, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So where are you from? You're from CST?
No, I'm EST as well.
Okay.
But either we can probably, the only available times that I have are probably very early in the morning. It's like even 7 or 7:30, because I have to be out by 9:30. And evening times just around the same time, 7 to 7 or 8, or any time after 7.
Yeah.
Is Sunday okay for everybody? Chris, Sunday evening?
Oh, this is just like an odd time, so we can't have a class on Sunday evening because people will be getting ready for Monday morning, and nobody will be interested to attend on Sunday's evening class.
Krish, Soumya here, Krish. Krish, I won't be available this weekend, Krish.
Okay.
To be frank, this Saturday is difficult for me too, but I did not say anything because everybody was okay.
Just a second. Okay, let us start our exception handling class. See, the reason why I have asked for the weekend class is once after the core Java, I'll be going to complete the extra topics like JMS, JUnit, or some of the EJB concepts and tools. Those are all not at all related to our regular class. So I don't want to combine our regular class, which will be going to happen on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I want to complete those normal topics during the weekend session. So if we take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm not sure how we'll be going to mix up with all the remaining separate topics. Let's hope until our core Java completion, we'll figure out one particular day and we'll complete those separate topics either on Thursday or Monday. Okay, let us start our next topic, which is exception handling. In any language, exception handling, not only Java, exception handling is required for any kind of programming language. Whatever the code that we have written, once we have deployed into production environment, we won't be sure that the data that was passed by the clients or users is always correct. In the sense, let us say you have written some code. Let us assume that you have written a code called int a comma b, and you have written int c equal to a/b. This kind of code you have written, and you have handed over this to the client, and the client is trying to pass the value of b as 0. When you pass the value of b as 0, which means you are trying to perform divide by 0 option. Let us say 25/0. So what you are doing here, divided by 0 operation you are performing, and in our normal mathematics, you'll be going to get an infinite symbol. But in case of programming language, you won't get infinite symbol kind of stuff. This is just like an arithmetic operation error or exception kind of stuff. You will get a message saying that divide by 0 error occurred. In languages like C or C++, the exception handling mechanism is not completely available. It's available up to some extent, you can say, but you can't recover from a system program errors. That means your program will be going to halt and your execution will be going to terminate it. These kind of errors, let us say you have 15 lines of code. 15 lines of code, and within, let us say, 5th line, you got divide by 0 error. So that means the remaining 10 lines, the 10 lines of code, they won't be executed at all. Because once an exception or error has arisen, your program execution will be going to terminate it. And your control, the transfer of control will come just out of the main method. In the sense, it will be going to terminate the whole program itself. But these kind of issues, here you can see the divide by zero error. These kind of issues has occurred because of the client inputs. Client input in the sense the client hasn't sent any data properly. If he has sent the data properly, let us say 25/10, we could have calculated the value properly and we have executed the rest of the code. So here the exception or issue was arised from the client data passing, but not the code execution or the code, whatever that we have written. So in these cases, instead of halting the execution or terminating the program, you can make use of exception handling process, and you can still continue the rest of execution. Once an exception has raised, exception is nothing but it is also an object which will be created by your Java runtime. Or else you can say exception, it is a deviation from your actual flow. Whenever an exception has occurred, exception, nothing but just now only we have discussed one kind of exception process. Whenever an error has occurred within your program, and if you are able to handle the exception, then you can still continue the rest of program execution. If you are not able to handle the exception, anyway, it will be going to terminate the program. So Java has provided exception handling mechanism whenever your code is raising any exceptions or errors. So Java's exception handling mechanism depends on 5 keywords, which are try, catch, throw, throws, finally. These are the 5 keywords that are used for exception handling mechanism. So you just need to learn about how to use these 5 keywords. That's all with respect to exception handling mechanism. I will just provide a brief definition with respect to each keyword. Try. All these are used with respect to blocks. Blocks in the sense, whenever you are writing some code, we have discussed about for loop, if loop, if control statements, while statements, or any kind of stuff. For each and everything, we have opened a curly brace and closed curly brace. So this is called block of code. So all these keywords are associated with respect to a block of code except this one. So the try block, whenever a block of code, whenever you already know that a block of code might throw an exception, then those statements will be specified in try block. So in our case, this particular statement will be going to throw an exception. It might throw or it might not, based on the data that was passed by the client. So this statement is the crucial one which might throw an exception. So these kind of statements will place them in try block. Once after specifying the exception block or the try block, you will be going to write a catch block which will catch the exception object. In the sense, whenever an exception has raised, let us say int c equal to a/b, and this scenario, let us say you have passed b value as 0, that means this statement will be going to throw an exception. So what kind of exception it will throw? The exception is also an object. This object will be prepared by Java runtime. So in current scenario, it will throw arithmetic exception. We'll discuss about what are all the objects that will be going to thrown by our JVM. But for example, in current case, it will throw arithmetic exception. Whenever you have specified that a block will be going to throw an exception, so that means you already know that this block of code will be going to throw an exception of type arithmetic exception. Whenever Java will try to execute this code, and if it was not able to execute that particular statement, then it will throw this particular exception. So you need to catch the exception object which will be going to thrown by your Java runtime. How we can catch the exception, that we'll see once after we are discussing try catch block. Throw. If you want to manually throw an exception, then we'll use throw keyword. Manually in the sense, let us say during the constructor initialization, we have asked the client to pass length and breadth values. And the client is passing the values as -1 and -2, which is not at all a valid values. So in this case, you won't be going to initialize the constructor by using length equal to -1, breadth equal to -2. What you are supposed to specify to the user, you should specify to the user, hey, you are sending wrong values for length and breadth initialization, and you shouldn't send negative values. In this case, you can throw an exception. You just need to specify a condition. If length less than 0 or breadth less than 0, in this case, you don't want to process further. And you'll be going to specify that you are sending negative values and I can't process with negative values, and you'll be going to specify that particular message with exception object. So you need to construct an exception object with some message, and you need to inform to the client by specifying this message. By looking at this message, the client can understand the issue and he can resolve the data, and he will send the correct values from now onwards. Once a throw clause has specified, the rest of the code, whatever the rest of the code available immediately, they won't get executed. So let us say if you have some statements after your throw class, they won't get executed. Simply, it will return the control back to the caller. So the throw clause, it will be used to specify or throw an exception manually. Throws keyword. Whenever you want to inform to the user or client or the caller method in our Java case, whenever you want to inform to the caller method about the exception that will be going to rise. See, let us say from our client code, we are trying to call one particular method. Let us say the method is throwing some exception, but the client has to know what kind of exception that you are throwing. Then only the client can handle the exception and he can process the further. To specify that, you will inform to the client that this method, hey, you are calling some restricted method, and in this restricted method, if you didn't pass the data properly, I'll be going to throw this kind of exception. So by using throws class, you'll be going to inform to the caller. So the caller will get aware, will be going to aware of the exception that will be going to rise by the calling method. Next one, finally keyword. The finally keyword is used. This is also a block, finally, which consists of a block of statements which needs to be executed. Irrespective of exception. In the sense,
so many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.